So Death Note came out on Netflix this week, and I've never seen Death Note, the anime. Long story short, I watch some anime, not very much in the grand scheme of things, very select things. I have certain people who, if they recommend a show to me, I will watch. But then again, there's so many other things I haven't been able to watch all of them. Death Note's been on my list for quite a while.
Yeah,
no.
And I've watched Death Note twice, which is that Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo are the only ones that I've gone back and watched
2 out of 3
in their entirety.
Yeah.
So I love the anime. It's an amazing concept.
Mm-hmm.
It's well executed. The pacing is fantastic. The characters are interesting. The twists, going and watching it again, knowing the twists that are coming, it absolutely holds up. It's like watching when you watch Fight Club the second time, and you can see all the hints that were put in there. When you can watch Death Note again, the anime again, and you can see how the characters are moving, and the tension and the conflict, the intellectual battles that are going on between L and Light. And there's so much about that anime that is just outstanding.
Yeah.
And Death Note on Netflix brings almost none of that. They have like kind of the main core concept. They have the character names. They have the Shinigami. They don't. I understand that to take an anime and condense it into it's what 100 minutes. I think it's like an hour 40 something.
Yeah.
So like it is considerably condensed, and I understand and can appreciate the difficulty that there is in that. But I feel like they failed the characters, and they failed to understand what Death Note is really about. Death Note in its manga and anime form is about questions, is about what do you believe. It's something that challenges you. It should challenge you. Death Note, the movie, doesn't.
Because I didn't get any of that out of the movie. From a film standpoint, you have about 7 minutes of setup before you actually see Ryuk, which is the only good thing about this entire movie.
Yeah.
Because Willem Dafoe cast as this demon was the best casting ever.
It's really outstanding.
He nailed it. I every single time he popped in, I was happy. That was when I was happy. You have about 7 minutes of setup, which started off trying to be very, to me, early 2000s Donnie Darko-esque in regards to filmmaking.
Yeah.
You had...
And also, speaking of Donnie Darko, the random soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of songs. There's an Air Supply song in the middle of that made no sense. The Donnie Darko, like, it was set in the 80s, and they had that version of Mad World is absolutely phenomenal. I actually heard that before I heard the original.
Real one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And part of it is because of nostalgia and connection and everything, but I think that the version of Mad World that they play which
was also played for like the Gears of War like trailers and stuff like that. So, it's excellent. It's an excellent show.
It's a really good tone, and the tone of the soundtrack. And I think that's one of the main failings that it has, is these concepts are really, really high level.
Yeah. One of the other things that bothered me about it is knowing that this is an adaptation of an anime. You have certain things that happen that, to me, I think they were trying to do a literal translation, specifically with L. And I wanted to ask you about this.
Okay.
One, does L sit like that in the anime?
Yes.
Okay, that knew it.
It's so awesome.
Number two, does L go up to a press conference and start tapping on the microphone like that?
No.
Okay, because both of those seem to me, I guess 1 out of 2 was right. Both of those seem to me like they said, there's this scene of this character in the anime, let's do that. Like, I would have rather had L, instead of sitting, perching himself on a chair.
Going all vulture.
I would have rather had him, like, he's very much a child. And we're not going to go into like huge. We can go into spoilers if we want. Maybe
we'll go through spoilers at the end.
From a character standpoint, Elle's character is very much a child. I mean, in the way that he eats, the way that he acts, the way that he prioritizes what he's going to do.
The eating was a big thing. It's like he's always just sitting there, just kind of.
And I like that, and that was fine. I thought that part of the character was fine, but I don't know any kids that when they see a chair sit like that. Like, I would have had him, not the sitting backwards in the chair like the 1990s I'm a bad kid now, but like he should be putting his foot up on things, like not in an arrogant way, but like he's like, I want to get comfortable here, and like messing with like knocking things off the table, not to show like he did in that one scene where he's like knocked stuff off. No, he should be doing that because he's like, I don't like this chair.
Well, see,
he's a freaking kid.
Right. But the thing about that, and the thing that particular pose for me does, is Elle does everything with such furious intensity. And so the fact that his body never relaxes. I think that's what that pose does, and so for me that was important.
I think it works in an animated setting. It works in a graphic novel setting, a manga setting as well. But when you take that and you try to do it in the real world, like it doesn't look right. There's certain things that when you watch anime or read manga or even read comic books, when a character does a certain thing or poses a certain way, you're just like, oh, okay, this is an over-accentuated character. You have a medium that's all about an extreme version to show an archetype or to show nature of a character. And when you take that and you put it into the real world, the only person who should have been doing weird stuff like that is Ryuk, right? In my opinion. Yes, you have a character with furious intent and everything, which his portrayal was very good. I thought from an acting standpoint, he did a great job. Those were my two favorite parts of the movie. I thought Mia did a pretty good job as well in regards. I'm not saying she was great. I'm just saying.
No. It's just this.
Now plot wise,
this Mia.
Yeah.
That's not Mia.
Okay, so
like they brought the names in. They didn't.
So plot wise, I think they rushed way too quick into everything.
Yeah,
because they wanted.
The first death occurs less than 12 minutes into the film.
Yeah.
And
by death we mean a death specifically given by the power of Death Note. Yeah.
And in the anime, it takes a lot of time and gives us the ability to relate to the character. In the anime, he is a really charismatic, really well liked figure.
Oh, Light?
Yes.
Okay.
Light is like this popular, hey, everybody likes me, which makes sense for what he does to create Kira. He understands how people will relate to this certain thing. And so to have a character that apparently nobody likes except this one girl and him confiding in Mia after they literally just met.
Yes.
What? No, this is the biggest secret you've ever had, and
that doesn't work in high school. That works in elementary school. No. From a character standpoint, that is something an elementary school kid would do because he was like, I know a secret. You're gonna know the secret, and now you're gonna like me because you know. No, that doesn't work in high school.
Yeah.
So, I had a lot of problems with pacing in this. I think that the problem was they tried to cram an origin story in the first 15 minutes and then try to ride out some other parts of a plot. Yeah. The easier way to do this, in my opinion, is you choose one or the other. You make the I mean, and I hate calling it the first movie, but you make a movie where you're setting up everything and starting to talk about these concepts, leave some intrigue, but have a decent overall storyline. Or you don't do an origin story at all. You start where he's already been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
That way you can bring in the characters and bring in established characters, and through actions tell the audience who these people are and why they matter, and don't do an origin story about it.
Yeah.
That's the problem, was they mashed all of this together. They tried to mash, I don't know how many, if it was like a first season or the entire Death Note.
They did the entire thing.
Okay, see that really bothers me.
There's a live action version that's it's a Japanese trilogy.
Yeah.
Cool. Because like the
there's a lot.
And anyway, there was a lot to cover, and I feel like if they were going to divorce themselves this far from the characters and they wanted to do their own take on the concept of Death Note, then they should have dropped more.
Yeah.
And been able to push more to the wayside. But there were a lot of things that were nods to what things that actually happened in the anime and things like that. And I think that they needed to, like you said, do one or the other. And they tried to straddle the line and therefore failed.
Yeah. This is the spoiler section, by the way, because I want to go into some spoilers here. So if you've not watched either one of them, then
you turn this off, go watch the anime, come back, then... That's also available on Netflix.
Yes.
Still available on Netflix. Absolutely go watch that.
Go watch
the anime is amazing. Then when you've done that, come back to this timestamp, and we'll talk about the movie.
So one of the things that bothered me, which it's probably something as well in the anime, but the power is there are specific rules which I think are really cool because then you get to play with rules, which from a writing standpoint again is a great idea. But when you can dictate how someone dies, okay, but when you dictate how they spend 48 hours of their life before they die, that gets to me a little too much because then what's the rule on that? Is the rule 48 hours? Is it a week? Is it a month? How about you write in there like, okay, this is going to happen for the next 7 years for this person. This person's going to dedicate his life to do this before he gets in a car accident.
It's 48 hours.
I didn't see that as a rule because he just randomly said, he's going to do this and then he dies.
No, it was mentioned that it's 2 days. In the movie, a character can be controlled 2 days leading up to their death.
Okay, I didn't see that being in there. So in that case, it's a ridiculous amount of control to give to somebody.
It's pretty extreme.
Yes, you have the negativity of the person's eventually going to die because you can only burn one page. I guess you can only burn one. That's the rule here.
That was.
That's not a rule in the anime. I guarantee that was thrown in there because otherwise, just burn every page.
Yeah.
You do it. You control that person when they've done whatever it was they're supposed to do in the next couple hours. Even though you wrote 2 days.
Yeah.
You go, oh yeah, I should burn that page again. You set a reminder on your smartphone. Hey, don't forget to burn Daryl's page so he doesn't die next Tuesday.
Yeah.
I mean that to me. That constraint was the only reason why you wouldn't use it all the time. Because I know this is a very evil thing to say, but if you could get specific people to do exactly what you need them to do, and you know that they wouldn't die, you put that over their head. They don't know it's over their head.
Yeah.
They do whatever it is that you feel that they should be doing, and then you burn the page. Then that would be used constantly. And I don't mean that in like a horribly evil way, which I mean controlling someone is a pretty dark thing to do. But how many times could you could start writing in for politicians and be like, okay, this person's gonna realize what this is, to call this meeting and call a meeting with scientists, realize global warming is actually a thing, announce it, sign all these treaties, and then you burn the page. Yeah. And then they go. And how do they feel afterwards? I mean, do they feel controlled?
So like there's a lot of elements here. One of the other things about the controlling that is mentioned in the anime, not in the TV, or not in the movie, is that you're only able to control the person that is going to die. So one of the things that happens in the movie is that Light describes himself doing something.
I had a problem with that because I didn't, and it wasn't specified that I remember, but did they specify can you burn your own page?
They did not.
So that should have been specified because when he got the book and he saw the page that said Light's heart's going to stop at midnight, you would go rip, burn, hide the death note.
Yeah.
Because then it's away from you. You got to wait 7 days, which is fine. You hide it so Mia can't find it. You don't look for it. Whatever happens, happens. But
Yeah.
you've distanced yourself from the Death Note, and you're still alive. Burn the freaking page as soon as he opened up the locker. I'm like,
Yeah.
why didn't you just do that?
Yeah. He needed to remove suspicion from himself being light. And he saw an opportunity to do both of these, which if he was that smart, that should have already happened. This is not something that you come up with while you're trying to figure out how to keep your girlfriend
The
from killing
amazing
you.
5-minute plan that he did to create the denouement where the Ferris wheel accident happens, but he survives, and then he grabs certain people to make sure he's alive, make sure he's kept in a medically induced coma, so that way deaths can happen when he's, so that we move to, again,
Right, that were announced.
those are
he could not have
plans.
possibly
Those are long-term plans that you don't find in a 5-minute frantic, adrenaline stressful situation when the police are outside the door.
Yeah.
No.
Seriously, the version of that happens in the anime is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a really fun twist in the middle that's all about the pursuit and it's So
I enjoyed L. I thought the character-wise, L was really, really great. I thought Light didn't have a lot of redeeming qualities. Like
no,
when I watched
there's
it.
no reason for us to really, and he didn't struggle with anything.
No.
Like in the anime, Light's grappling with the idea. He talks all the time about justice.
Yeah.
Which I was waiting for it, and he never even said the word. It wasn't about justice. It was about revenge and power and adoration and all that stuff. And that doesn't make for a compelling character.
It doesn't. And that was my problem with it. When you have other characters, they have to have character motivation. They have to have things that they're striving for. What happened in this movie is the loser kid who doesn't have any friends, and I say that as a kid who was very similar, got the girl that he wanted and had the power to kill.
No, he didn't get the girl he wanted. He got a girl that walked up. Because he had a crush on the girl that he rescues at the beginning who's hanging out with...
I confused the two of them.
But that's not the same character.
They're both...
And then that character is never seen again.
Similar looking brunettes. I thought it just happened to be...
No.
That's another problem that I have with movies. You don't... it's very important to... when you're doing a movie, you're talking about an hour and a half or so of story time where you need to condense a lot of material. And if you're talking about a lot of these interesting concepts and a lot of very new concepts, then other things need to be shown visually to you. You have characters that all look distinct.
Yeah.
You don't have two brunette teenagers that look very close to each other because you have one scene with one, you have the next scene with another, and then you never see the first one.
Yeah.
So my mind connected the two together because...
Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because otherwise that character has no reason to exist.
Yeah. She never showed up later.
Nope.
Oh, hold on. She saw her in the hall. So she's in two scenes.
I believe you.
She's in the scene where he tries to rescue her and then gets punched out.
Right.
And then
she's also in the scene where the first kill, when the guy gets decapitated, they're picking on her again.
About that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they looked way too similar, but you have a guy who to backtrack, like, he basically gets anything and everything that he wants within like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He has the girl who like really likes him and she's attractive and like they have really good chemistry on multiple fronts. Is kind of what they were kind of trying to show.
Yeah.
They're both kind of outsiders, and they connect on a lot of levels. He has the power to kill whoever he wants, whenever he wants. Mm-hmm. But he is, like you said, he's not talking about justice the entire time. He's like, hey, we should kill this person. Hey, we should kill this person. Mia, the way that they portrayed her in this movie, Mia should have been the one doing that. And he should have been like, do we really know? There's one time where he saes, what if someone just put someone's
the website
ex-boyfriend on his page?
and then he goes back on that
so
later. No explanation.
It was not clearly defined. He should, especially is his father in the anime involved with police?
Yes.
Okay, because so from a standpoint, the character in the anime sounds like he's closer to his father, because in the movie they're not very close for a lot of reasons, and to me it seemed like Light was kind of being rebellious and I guess it's probably was done better in the anime. I would have had Light. Have a lot of these principles from his father. Very Dexter-like, where he's like, my dad always told me about this, and this is really important. I don't know if he does that in the anime, that's cool, because that's what I would have done from a character standpoint, because now you just have this guy who's trying to rebel, but he's really basically doing what his dad may or may not have done if he didn't have certain red tape. You have people who molested children, who murdered people, who are getting away with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his dad doesn't seem to struggle with that.
When it's revealed at the end,
No. He because he's like, this one guy got away, but this is not a constant thing. This is just, he got away, and he doesn't in his position. Mm-hmm. The idea, and that is something in the anime that he gets from his dad.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Is his dad's frustration with the system that lets people and things like this slip through the cracks, and that's where the concept of justice comes from. Yeah. Go watch the anime. You too.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Are you gonna?
I'm going to. So,
okay,
but the other thing that bothered me, because we were talking about it seemed like the only reason that in the movie, the only reason that he was the son of a detective, the only reason that he was involved with the police at all, was just so when Elle came in, that Elle could be like, it's someone with the police. I bet it's someone in the department, and that gets dropped pretty darn quick too. Like, I didn't see, like, you see. They start to investigate the police. Mm-hmm. They investigate his father. He
says everybody's a suspect.
Everybody's a suspect. Great.
And then
perfect.
Like 2 or 3 scenes later, Light is my only suspect, and you don't see the process, and he doesn't explain that.
Yeah. That bothered me, because it seemed like it started this thing where you could have all these officers. What do you do as a police officer when, the pressure of everyone investigating every part of your life, every single officer is going through that right now. Yeah. The stress that they're all going through right there, it's all just gone.
Yeah.
It bothered me on so many levels, because you brought up things that you could work with, and it felt unnatural, because to me, I didn't when I was first watching it, that's what I thought they were going to be doing. I thought Elle was like, well, it's someone on the inside, and then you're going to have this again, like they have with Dexter, where they're like, someone's probably involved with the department. All right, internal affairs gets brought in. Everyone's on crackdown, and then you have Light would have to be like, I need to make sure that people don't think it's my dad, because if people think, because he only has one moment where he's like, oh no, he's like, I shouldn't kill my dad, when Mia was like, you should kill him, because that's what Kira would do. But I mean, as soon as there was like, oh, they're investigating the police, Light should have been like, oh no, I need to get the heat elsewhere.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that.
Nope.
So go watch the anime. Don't watch the Netflix thing, or watch it as a fun drinking game when you watch bad movies, because that's all I can think of. Willem Dafoe is great in this. The guy who played Light, Elle, Light was okay, but Elle, whoever was, I'm gonna look and see what else he's doing.
I want to watch more stuff
because I really enjoyed him. But Willem Dafoe was obviously the best part. So my feeling about Willem Dafoe playing the perfect version is still there. And if they decide to reboot it at one point, please keep him, because it doesn't need a complete clean slate. We're good with that.
So that is our long and extended opinion on Death Note, the movie, how it reflects on the anime, and yeah, so go check that out, and stay here for more movie reviews and video game reviews, and we talk about a lot of stuff.
We do. See you later.